bottom.
Presuming I like what I hear. And now I'm stuck in the web you're spinning. You've got me for your prey.
Are you sending that video or what's
Sorry, I'm not home right now. I'm walking in the spider web, so leave a message and I'll call you back. A likely story, but leave a message and I'll call you back. Intruding on what's mine, and you're taking up my time. Don't have the courage inside me to tell you, please let me be. Communication, a telephonic invasion. I'm planning my escape. Sorry, I'm not home right now. I'm walking in the spider web, so leave a message and I'll call you back. A likely story, but leave a message and I'll call you back. And it's all your fault. I scream my phone calls. No matter who calls, I gotta scream my phone
Got it?
It's gone too deep. You wake me in my sleep. My dreams become nightmares. 'Cause you're ringing in my ears. Oh, sorry, I'm not home right now. I'm walking in the spider web, so leave a message, babe. A likely story, but leave a message and I'll call you back. And it's all your fault. I scream my phone calls. No matter who calls, I gotta scream my phone calls. Walking through spider webs. Walking through spider webs. It's all your fault. I scream my phone calls. Walking through spider webs. So leave a message and I'll call you back.
Hey everybody, it's the top of the hour. That means you still got a couple more minutes to get all cozy and ready for the show. Grab yourself a snack, get something to drink. Share out the link with your friends that aren't already in the stream. The Suzette Veneti Show will begin in about 2.5 minutes.
You say you ain't seen nothing till you're down on your butt, and you'll be sure to say in your head, I met a cheerleader, a real young leader. All the time I could reminisce of the best time loving your brother and your cousin. Started with a little kiss like this. Seesaw swinging with the boys in the hood, with your feet flying up in the air, singing hey diddle diddle, the kitty in the middle, swinging like you just don't care. I took a real big chance. It's a high school dance with a homie who was ready to play. Wasn't me he was fooling, 'cause he knew what he was doing when he told me how to walk this way.
Have some
And
of
he
that.
said, walk this way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. out of favor. It told me just a little kiss like this. Yeah, ooh, yeah. Seesaw swinging with the boys in the hood, with your feet flying up in the air. Singing, hey, diddle, diddle, kitty in the middle, swinging like you just don't care. I took a real big taste at the high school dance with a homie who was ready to play. He said, hey, was fooling, you know what he was doing. He told me how to walk this way. And he said, oh, what's this way? Yeah. Oh, baby, won't you walk this way? Yeah. Oh, baby, won't you walk this way? Oh, baby, won't you walk this way?
Welcome to the virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for the Suzette Veneti Show. Please welcome to your screen your host, Suzette Veneti.
Hey everybody watching the Suzette Veneti Show. Oh, look what time it is. It's 5:03. We're back to our regular time. Because we are consistent. Even though it's 5:03 and that's a weird start time, we are consistent. Anyhow, it's October 25th. It's the first Sunday before Halloween. So, get your Halloween costume good. I'm a ghosty witch, I guess, right now. I don't know. I still have to host a show. We have to be serious on the show. We can't wear costumes. Also, I did my makeup today for a character, but it just ended up being my regular makeup. So there's no need to do anything different because even when you dig deep, you end up the same. So let's start the show. By the way, it's Sunday, so if you have anything to do on Wednesday, get it done today because Wednesday comes fast. It comes fast at you. Okay. Wednesdays are like that. Sensing that her 15 minutes are up, Carol Baskins came out as bisexual. I'm not saying I don't believe the lady who is clearly an attention whore and didn't even express any attraction to another woman. She just said that she could have fed a woman to a tiger as likely as she could have husband. I'm sorry, she didn't say that. She said that she could have as easily been married to a woman as a man. Anyhow, like I said, it's not that I don't believe her. It's just that I hope that someone does and books her in a parade or something because she is so starved for attention she will clearly kill again. So just whatever, nothing, just book her for a virtual something or other, please, somebody. Okay. The University of Texas football program went back on the word. They said that they would not play The Eyes of Texas Are Upon You, which is a song that has roots during slave ownership times. And this isn't a joke. They just went back on their word. They said, we're not going to do it. And then the football players said, cool. And then the football players, mostly black, went out and played. And then the school was like, but we still like that song. Isn't that just kind of sad that they can't stop playing their song? Just find a new song. You know what song's great? Any song. How about Bad Romance? Play Bad Romance instead of The Eyes of Texas. When you guys score a touchdown, Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. Done. Look, I solved your problems. I'm like that. Let's see here. Oh, a gentleman in Europe, somewhere where they have COVID under control, created an app to look up. This is just news at this point. This isn't jokes, guys. Sorry. Created an app to look up to place an order for McFlurries at McDonald's every 30 seconds. So $18,000 worth of McFlurries are ordered by this app every 30 seconds. They're not picked up and the orders aren't actually made, but the orders are placed. And that way you can tell if the McFlurry is actually, like, if the machine is working, because if you can't place the order, then the machine's not working. So if you can find this app, I don't know where it is, but then you can figure out if the McFlurry's working. Or you could just make one in your own blender at home and not worry about McDonald's broke-ass McFlurry machine. Because, like, how long have you been making McFlurries and they're still broke? Look, people often say, Suzette Veneti, how long have you been performing and you still have that hair and you can't brush it? There can only be one of us, McDonald's, and I'm it. So figure out your McFlurry situation. I fixed another problem. Oh, my God. It's what I do in October. I fix problems. What's this? Nope, don't know what that is. Oh, this is a weird one. Quibi. There have been a lot of jokes about how it lasted for a Quibi, so I can't make that joke. But anyway, the CEO suggested to the employees as they got laid off to listen to an Anna Kendrick troll song about getting knocked down and getting back up to lift their moods while they got fired, terminated, laid off. That's weird. But Anna Kendrick does make me smile, so I guess there's that. And then Rudy Giuliani. Poof, what a joke. I don't have one, but he is a joke. Oh, my God. Let's just get to the show, because that's all I got. This week there was just too much news, and I don't know. Just vote, because it's coming not next week. It's the week after. So whatever you need to do, get your ride, get your snacks, make sure you're registered, make sure you know where you're going. If you need a buddy, bring a buddy. The people threatening people can't hurt you. They're not real. I mean, they're real, but like they're not real because they live in someone's basement. It's their mom. They live in their mom's basement and they're on a chair and they have headphones and they're just trying to scare people. So come at me, internet bullies. Anyway, let's go with one of my favorite people, one of my favorite follows, one of my favorite comedians, Mean Dave. Oh, sorry. Oh.
Yo.
Oh, we'll go Clifton. I'm sorry.
Oh, go on, Clifton.
Clifton, are you there? Sorry,
Yes,
Jesse.
I'm here. I was like, I'm not a comedian. I don't deserve that honor.
Let me give you a better introduction. One of my favorite people, one of my favorite friends, and a person that I go hard at brunch for, Clifton Ellison.
Yes, you did. I was like, is she gonna do it? She did it. This bitch did a death drop at brunch.
And I died. I'm dead now.
I'm still a little drunk, but I'm still in shambles because you really did a death drop at brunch. I'm proud of you.
Thank
Come
you.
on, Evolution.
Thank you. Well,
Come
so
on, Evolution.
you haven't. So okay. So you were at the show we did at Badlands.
Yes.
We talked about my performances that day and how they were just for 2 people. And I don't know if I said it on that show, but that was the most I've ever felt like the audience was like, oh, this is cute. What contest did you win? Can we get to the performers who didn't win a contest to be in the show? The ones who belong in the show? So today I just wanted to do something that was like still me, but was like, oh, okay. Did I
The
hit?
girls loved it. They loved it.
Okay,
I went
cool.
with 2 of my friends that have never been, and they had a good time. That was their first time, both of them.
I thought it was a really great show today.
Yeah, that was my first time going with it being inside. So I haven't been in about I would say about like a month. I haven't been, but it was a really good show. Everybody turned it. It was a really good show. I loved Apple. I loved Faye, Helen, Taryn. Everybody did a good job.
Yeah, it was
But,
the original
girl,
Makeup and Mimosas cast.
Giuliani. I tried to watch the Borat movie, and I got to that part, and it was one of the most like. I was just watching it, and I was just like, "Is this real life? Is this really happening? Is this like somebody in Rudy Giuliani makeup? No, it was him." And I'm just like, so you mean to tell me that you signed up to do this movie knowing what the fuck you're gonna be doing? And you still did it. Like, it was just, because we all know, let that have been like Biden, Obama, Kamala, Bernie, AOC. Let that have been any of those people.
But
it would have been a mess.
But it couldn't have been, because they're not stupid.
It was just so much. Like, I didn't finish the movie because after that part, I was like, okay, I need to like rinse my eyeballs out with the blood of Jesus, but like it was just too much for me. But between that and as a Black man that is in their mid-30s, I had to really kind of pour a little bit out because one of my childhood heroes just had to start cooning in this last week. And that is Ice Cube, member of NWA, Star of Friday. He really did a lot for the West Coast rap scene. And now you out here shooking and jiving for Trump. And then you wonder, and then when Donald Trump Jr. posted that picture on Twitter with him and 50 Cent with the Trump 2020 thing photoshopped on their hats from a Laker game or whatever, girl, and then he had the audacity to be like upset that people were like telling him like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Talking about a platinum plan and all this type of stuff, girl. And, I have to take my hat off to 50 Cent because, I still don't like him. He's trash, but at least he's trash that will say that he's trash. He said, I don't want to go for Joe Biden because I don't want my taxes to go up. And he falls in that category of he makes over $400,000 a year, so his taxes will go up. But what kills me is all these other people on the internet all up in arms, and I'm just like, sis, you work at Applebee's. You work at Macy's. You work at Starbucks. You don't work. Like, so it's not going to affect you. Like, It's too much, Suzette. It's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like I would be affected by a $400,000 tax increase.
I'm not. I'm not. I don't make that kind of money.
I am safe. Mark me safe on Facebook from the getting taxed because I'm making for it. Because let me tell you, I don't make close to that.
No, not even. Honestly, I don't even think I even made that much in my whole working career as an adult, so, but I just laugh at these people that are all like up in arms over it. And I'm just like, sis, you don't work, or you work at Target, like,
or you work, but like you making $45,000 a year, like calm down. You got to make 10 times that. You're good, baby. You're good, boo.
Yeah. It's just, that's enough of that. Did you watch SNL last night?
I didn't yet because I watched it on Hulu, and so I have to wait till the next day.
Adele
Tell me about
was
it.
Cute. She was cute. I was shocked that she wasn't performing, but I guess like she's kind of trying to step outside of her comfort zone and try and act so that she messed up her lines a couple times. It is fine, it's live TV, whatever. She's not an actress, but she looked good. She kind of looked like Meryl Streep a little bit. Like, I was like, oh, okay. What's that movie where she drank the potion or whatever like that? The one with the, oh God, gays don't crucify me, I'm drunk. The one with the head and the Goldie Hawn's in it too. My roommate is laughing at me. Shut up. Definitely comes to. There we go. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
She
Okay.
kind of looked like her in Death Becomes Her, where she had like the side swoop and everything on the beginning monologue. I was like, okay, I see you, Adele. She was looking good. But yeah, that's really only been the only positive celebrity thing this week, because the rest of it has just been utter trash. And we talked about the Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez situation, and he jumped on Instagram Live again because that's what the kids do when they have to do a press release now, denouncing the whole thing, saying that she's a liar, saying all this type of shit, and I'm just like, girl, just shut up. You're 5'5". She could kick you. I could kick you. Like, just shut up and go back to Canada. Just shut up and go back to Canada. Like, these, it's just like, I try to get the news information for the show, but then like when I read all these things, I'm just like, what is going on with my people? Like, between Ice Cube and him, I'm just done, and I need to just like rinse my palette out with like some wrestling or some cartoons or something because I just can't take reality anymore.
Or drag brunch.
Or drag brunch, yes. And I rinse my palette out really well. I'm still drunk right now.
I knew it was going to be a good show when I was, just because we have a word for the celebrity news this week where I'm from. We would call this week's celebrity news dookie. This week was full of dookie.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
It was really just basura, trash, just bottom of the basement, on the bottom of my foot, just bullshit. But, you know, the positive thing is at least I get to talk to you and see Dave.
I know. I like our little family.
Yes. And I had a wonderful time seeing everybody in person for the first time when we were at the Badlands. That was a good show. I had a good time. Even though, you know, it was at your expense. It was with love.
You know,
it was with love.
Like I said on that episode, if you can get like amazing people to come around you and do a show with you, especially do a show with you this is our 28th show, do 28 shows with you. And I mean, Taryn and Apple have not done 28 of this show, but they see enough of me that they are in the club. So if you can get people that love you that much to be with you, like whether or not they're making fun of you, I'm already a winner.
You are.
Thank you.
You did a damn good job today.
Thank you.
I love you.
I'm excited to tell Dave about it because he's only seen me perform the one time when it was like the.
Oh no, Dave! This was not a Little Mermaid thing that only you and Chelsea would have known. This had everybody interested. Everybody was cheering. It was a 160 from what you saw. It was,
so we can call the last.
Girl, I'm drunk. 180. What is
180? 180. Is that your roommate checking you? Did he check you with the 180? So I would call the Kiss the Girl number. I'm gonna call that my Make-A-Wish number because that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It's like I want to do a number of makeup and mimosas. It was like, because we did a group number today, so there were 3 numbers that I was like, okay. And here's what I'll say. I knew the Sanderson sisters group number was going to be like blam, like it was going to be good. And I knew my last one was going to, because I was like, I feel this mix. It was the it was the non je ne regrette rien mixed with Work Bitch. That no one would ever put together.
What it was. I was drunk and I just saw a maid outfit. And I was like, okay, this is cute. And then when Work Bitch started, I was like, okay. Then I was like, oh, I see what she's doing.
I was like, this is either gonna be crashing into a wall at 90 miles per hour in a car, or it's going to be the funnest thing ever. And I'm using funnest. And it was
fun. They loved it.
So much fun. And both crowds, like, I think that's how because like I measure things kind of like a comedian. Like if a joke works in one room, I don't know about it. But if it works in 2 rooms, you might have something, you know? And so this obviously the same room, but like different crowds. It worked at the first show and it worked at the second show. And I was like, this is what you guys like? I could bring this to you every week.
That's a hit, honey. That's a hit.
What about, did you like my last number?
Oh, I loved it. You, like, the mixes were good. Everything was good. Everything. And I liked how all 3 of them kind of synced with each other.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a funny story. The first show, because you came to the second one.
Yeah.
So just so the audience watching. So we did Apple and Helen and I did the Sanderson sisters. And I was Sarah Jessica Parker because everyone always says, oh my God, you look like Sarah Jessica Parker from Hocus Pocus. So I just finally just leaned into it. And I did that. And then the second number was I was a French maid. And most of the song was in French, and then the chorus of Work Bitch by Britney Spears was mixed in. And then the third number was just a bunch of songs, but had a lot of Carrie Bradshaw quotes and some French from Lady Gaga. So it was like, it was a connected universe. I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, and the straight girls were lip syncing your Carrie Bradshaw lines. I haven't watched that show in probably like 15 years though, but those girls were lip syncing those lines like it just came out yesterday. So I'm telling you,
I'm just,
you
you know,
did it.
I'm just gonna do Carrie Bradshaw from now on. Just all my numbers, Carrie Bradshaw.
You gotta bring an old 1998 MacBook laptop on the stage. You know, the one that had the blue color in the background and everything. You know.
Uh huh.
Am I a whore or am I just in love?
What
You
was
know.
what was I gonna say? I didn't do this art. I found a new artist that I want to do her songs, and
Mhm.
I didn't do her song today. But if I ever changed my name, my drag name, if I ever got a real one, it would be this artist's name, because her name is Jin, like Jin
Mhm.
Wigmore.
Mm.
And I'm like, if that's not a drag name,
That also sounds like a principal of an elementary school that likes to drink because the kids get on her nerves.
I like this. I like this
Mhm.
game. We say a name and then we come up with what the occupation. Could it be a drag queen or is it an elementary school principal?
She's a drag queen, but she's an elementary school teacher, and the kids get on her damn nerves, so she drinks.
Jin Wigmore. And this is a real artist. I'm in love because I love Jin and I love Wigmore. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna have to look her up on Spotify.
Do.
But Miss Suzette, I do have to go because I'm pulling double duty.
Okay.
right
Well,
now.
thank you for stopping
'Cause
by.
You know how I do my wrestling on Sunday, so I gotta do that shit for the other podcast. So your girl is stretched and drunk. So
Have fun and thank you for
thank
coming
you.
today.
It was so good to see you.
It
I
was
love
lovely
you.
to see you. Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Peers and queers, you can send some money to Clifton Ellison. His information was below him on the screen. Also, above me on the screen is maybe above my hat is Stab Comedy Theaters. Once again, these shows are brought to you for free during pandemic and, I don't know, the end of the world. So if you want to send some coin, that's where you can do it. So we can keep bringing these shows to you. Yay! Okay, cool. And with that, we're going to go with now. This is the real intro for one of my favorite comics, one of my favorite peoples, one of my favorite follows, Mean Dave. Hey, how are you?
Is everything gonna work this week? 'Cause I know last week you guys got the power turned off on you.
Yeah, it was Comcast.
Yeah, Comcast. Did you
Yep.
pay the bill? Are the bills paid or is
The
everything-
bill's paid. Yeah, no, Comcast doesn't care if you pay the bill or not. Honestly, I will say
They
this
do.
about
Well,
Comcast.
everybody can pay the fucking bill, especially when you don't work or if you in the COVID time and all that shit. You know?
Every company like that exists, like SMUD and PG&E, were like, no, girl, don't pay your bill. It's okay. We got you this for the rest of 20. Yeah. But Comcast was like, you owe the bill and we don't have customer service, so pay the bill or we're shutting off your internet. Like, not now, Comcast.
No, it's how all things work, really. But what's this number you did today that you actually had enough sense to perform to the entire audience?
I'll send you a video.
I don't need the video. Describe it.
Okay.
Describe
Okay.
it.
So I come out to some really creepy music dressed as a mummy, and I've done the French Maid number, and I've done the Hocus Pocus number, and I come out as a mummy, and it's creepy music, and then you hear Rob Zombie's Living Dead Girl, like, who is this creature that has an adorable creature that loves the dead? And then it's Living Dead Girl, but you just hear Living Dead Girl, and then a very excellent transition into Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics.
I was gonna say, thank God you didn't stick with the Rob Zombie. I could already see that going south.
Yeah.
That run.
Super fast. So Sweet Dreams actually got everybody like
Yeah,
like their
that's-
attention
yeah.
was locked. And I did like the first, I'm going to say stanza. I'm going to use a musical term. I did the first stanza of that. I don't know if I'm using that correctly. And then it cut to Carrie Bradshaw saying, I didn't know all single men were freaks. And then, because I was dressed like a mummy, and then Badlands has mummy decorations on the walls. And then it went to L. King's X's and O's, because the mummy represented my exes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did like a verse or two of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cut to back to then it cut back to Rob Zombie. Who is this adorable creature? But then it didn't go Living Dead Girl. It played You're a Hot Mess, which is the theme song for this show. And then I made it like a sour face, like, who put that
It's
there?
not the theme show for the show. It's the theme show for you. I mean, or the theme for...
Theme song for the show, yeah.
For
Sorry.
You, an extension of the Hot Mess, yes.
Yeah. And then another Carrie Bradshaw quote that was like, I will never be the perfect woman with perfect hair who can wear white and not spill on it, because I was a mummy. And it was very mummy white, you know. And then it went to a song called Sleepwalker by Bonnie McKee, which is like, you wake me up because I'm a
Classic,
sleepwalker.
Yeah, it's the one Richie Valens' Dead is Dead song.
You know it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's that.
And then I took the music and I reversed one side of the track to the opening of Bad Romance and left the other side going forward, so it was recognizable but creepy.
Yeah.
And then it went into Bad Romance, and at that point the crowd was like, we are here for this, and it was just a ride to the end.
Okay. All right. Just everything right there, that just involved a level of just conscious thought in knowing to perform for that entire audience. That's what I want you to do. If I ever appear at another drag brunch that you're performing at again, I don't want anything that's an inside joke between just you and me and Chelsea or any. You pay more homage to who's there by putting on a hell of a show, and then we get to compliment it afterwards. Not this one thing that's like, yeah, it was nice. Like, 'cause you were asking me about it all week, which then I kept telling you, like, I don't know, Suzette. I don't know. Call it a hunch. The only drag I ever been to a drag brunch. I only went to. I've performed comedy on some drag shows. I've only seen one drag performance that I would say, nothing against drag performances. It's a whole other thing. Drag queens aren't coming with me to Melvin's shows, so I have no business commenting on drag brunches per se. I respect the performance. I respect the talent involved in all of that, the showmanship, the womanship. But as far as the only performance I've ever truly enjoyed was at a show that I did it was at this one large club in San Francisco. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it was a very popular club. It was like in 2012, I want to say. I was still drinking and getting high at the time, and it's packed. It's this part of this all day thing they were having, and there was this one performer who she was tall as hell. That's all I remember. She was like over 6'5", at least, in heels, in these big heels. She was dressed in all black. She had a very both masculine and feminine energy about her. She had a very Marilyn Manson kind of thing going, but not as decorative. It was just really, she just had on this like just ripped up black dress, these tall black boots, and she had this strong jawline. She looked like actually a comedian that I'm friends with, Juan Medina, in drag. And she would strut around. She plays this beat that was this very angry beat that this was like not lip syncing. She was doing her own vocals. She had playing this beat that reminded, if you've ever heard of the group Death Grips, when I heard Death Grips, it's kind of like that. It was like a beat that almost like, it's not in 4/4 time. It was catchy because it's like it's scaring you. It was very like machine gun style, like rapid fire beat or whatever. And she is strutting through the crowd, like just commanding people to like part like the Red Sea, and just keep going, bitch, you best get the fuck out of my way, bitch, and like not stop saying bitch. She dropped a lot of curse words and just really the alphaness, the alpha drag queenness of her performance, going through and just demanding everything. It was kind of, I want to say there was a methy vibe to it as well. Like there was definitely just the meth intensity, but just the way that she was just commanding everybody to just get the fuck out of her way as she just strutted with such swagger through the entire audience that was crammed in there. And I just could not stop laughing. It was probably one of my favorite performances I've ever witnessed in such an environment, and left quite an impression. I never got her name. I wish I did, and I hope she's still alive because I think she did a lot of drugs just looking at her. But yeah, so that's my bar as far as I'm concerned. And as far as like, because I like a lot of stuff that's a little more heavy and intense and all that kind of stuff. Not the biggest fan of The Little Mermaid. Nothing against your song. I know you're trying to be sweet and all. Not a big fan. I do material about how I'm not a fan of Disney shit. Not a fan of a lot of
You do. It's some of my favorite jokes that you do.
Yeah, well, it's only one really, and it's really just more pointing out the, some of the theme of one, and it was really just a thought that came to me when I had to watch my nephew's boring ass performance, but yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, as far as that's what I'm saying. If I ever see you in those circumstances again, you best perform to the crowd because that's what I would rather see. I don't want to see you bomb one for an inside joke. You know what I mean?
So I think you touched on a couple things. Like one, being able to be in the crowd is an element of drag that's a little different from comedy. And the show you came to was the first one where I was like, oh, I'm not the first time I'd ever performed in a set place, but I'm starting to figure out more how to do that. And the other thing,
you know what you remind me of that day?
What's that?
I learned to ski when I was a little kid, right? And my parents would like took us to the snow a few times. And there was this one time, we learned doing the pie wedge on the bunny course and all that. And then you graduate up to the blue square mountains that are a little more intermediate. And then they got the black diamond mountains that are those are the hardest mountains, right? Well, on this one particular day, when we're going to some of the ski courses, they have us try out to see whether we go in the blue square group or the black diamond group. And I had this one run that I swear to God, I did not know what the fuck I was doing, but I looked like I was skiing like every one of the black diamond skiers. When I knew in my heart of hearts, no, I'm a blue square guy at best. And I had this run and I came to a complete stop and they're like, all right, he's going with the black diamond group over there. And they took me on a course where I ended up getting stuck. They kept having to like, oh, what the fuck, motherfucker? Like, and I said, I just got lucky on that one run. I should have fallen on my face and should have been in the blue square group. I had no business being in this group. And that's not to say you had no business being in that group, but it reminded me when I watched all those other performances, because there were people doing a lot of, either there was a lot of dance, there was a lot of physical activity, or there was over the top gravitas.
Right.
In the performance. And it was one of those. And then you went up there and you brought kitschy junior high cute girl to it. And I was just like, oh, wow. this is bold. And I admired that you did that. But I also know that this is, even though it's brunch, drag queen culture and just, it's a savage land. And there were a lot, I'm sure, I didn't want you to get bad reviews or look like, what the fuck is this? What's going on right here? So, but I was, so.
You gotta, as a, both as a comedian, as a drag queen, sometimes you have to take a leap and hope, I don't know if this is going to work. And there's not really a place to open mic as a drag. I mean, there are amateur shows. We've talked about them on this show, but right now they're not happening. So if you have a weird idea, sometimes you just I would say the mixes that I did today certainly were very weird. And so I got a sense of that just in hearing that, but I'm sure there's performances. I mean, regardless. And like I said, I'm nobody who has any business comment. I'm only talking about you. I'm like, you need to. No, I mean, your opinion is valid because you were there and you saw the show. I would say what I did today it would be more in the gravitas column.
Good. Right.
Yeah. So and what I'll say what I've learned, because you were there at the start of the month. So what I've figured out is if I have an inside joke, it doesn't need to be the whole song. It can just be a moment with one person where I wink at them or perform to them.
That's all you need.
And then go back to the rest of the song.
Yeah. Trust me, there was a couple eye contacts I got from some of the other performers, just like little thing or whatever and all. I just gave him the devil horns.
Yeah.
Like, great job there with the Whitney Houston, that shit, you know.
Well,
so.
When you see me again, and I talked to Nina G about booking you both in a show today. So when you see me again, I will bring it much harder.
Well, bring it to the audience. You don't need to bring it.
Not to you. I'll bring it generally forth to everybody.
We're part of it. So
that
cool.
I have a bar to hit.
Song. If you got Nina G at the brunch, I got a song for you to use.
Okay.
That you can throw into your mix, and it's the one song where you ain't seen nothing yet. You got to have the baby. You ain't seen nothing yet. She uses that song in her intro shit for the obvious stutter.
Right.
So great for you to throw that in there.
That's a good one.
That would be an inside joke. That again. And they're not long. Just like you did the Rob Zombie shit.
Yep.
Not
just that one line, not the whole song.
Rock, fuck up with the, give the drag queens a quick scare, and then move on to something nice and draggy. So, all right, cool. Well, I gotta go.
Okay.
Great talking to you this week.
Thanks for coming by.
Hang on. I'll catch you later, and you have a great rest of the show.
Bye, Mean Dave.
Love you too.
Bees and Booze, you can send your money to Mean Dave if you'd like to. His information was below him on the screen. And again, we're all doing this for fun, and most of us are out of work still, because that's the world right now. So what can you do but bring you guys a show? And with that, we're going to go with our interview guest for the week. Let me get to... Oh, we have Chelsea? Yes. Sorry. I am all out of sorts today. I hit my head when I did a death drop, and I think maybe that's just slowing me down a little bit. So we're going to go with Chelsea Bearce. So hold on one second, interview guest. One of my favorite people, one of my favorite comics, and I don't have a good day unless she's here and she's yelling at me. So let's go to Chelsea Bearce.
Yes! Hey,
Hi.
bitch!
How are
Hello,
you?
everybody. Chelsea Bearce, hello. I'm sorry I can't be there live. I am doing a reading right now for the sketch comedy company, troupe? I don't know what you would call them. Killing My Lobster in San Francisco. I'm helping them with one of their final reads from one of their sketch classes. Tonight is their final, and I get to be one of the featured actors. So I apologize that I can't be there, but I'm sure that Suzette is there, and I'm sure she looks tragic. And I'm pretty positive that she did a monologue in the beginning that everyone just wishes they could fast forward. So when I say hello, I wanted to, I missed last week, and so I didn't want to be gone for 2 weeks. So this is me just saying hello. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Hello to Mean Dave, and hello to Clifton. Hello to Jesse, who's running everything over there at Stab. Thank you so much. And you guys, your interview guest tonight is Robby Sandler, who is a huge, huge, huge deal in the Who Wrote This Shit community. Oh, you don't know what that is? You'll find out. He's the co-producer and the executive producer on the game show that him and I created together. So show him some love, you guys. And be nice to Suzette, okay? She has no idea what she's doing. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your show. And I'll be back to tell you how horrible my dating life is and how single I am very, very soon. Okay.
Chelsea Bearce, everybody. One of my favorite people, and also experiencing the dating woes like me. So send love and support. Okay, and with that, now I'm in line. I know where we're going. I tell you, death drops are just concussion getters. Is what they are. You got to know how to do them before you do them. And your girl didn't know what she was doing, but it looked good. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So we're gonna go with the interview guest. He is a producer and panelist on Who Wrote This Shit, a fellow member of the Christine Baranski is Amazing Club, and he just discovered the truth that I have known since 2014, that Ghirardelli box brownies are the motherfucking truth. Give it up for Robby Sandler.
Hi.
How are you?
I don't know who's giving it up, but I'm honored that they are. I'm so good. How are you? I heard you died this week. Rest in peace.
I died, this afternoon, probably about 2 o'clock.
I've never seen a corpse that looked more like Sarah Jessica Parker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do look
Hi.
like her, yeah. So much.
Very much. It's all I'm here to talk about, honestly.
I'm okay with that. No. So I wanted to ask you, you do a lot of things. You've been very busy during the pandemic. So,
which is weird because there are so many days that have felt so empty and boring. But yeah, when I look back, I have done a couple of things, yes. But don't worry, there's also been a lot of emptiness.
sure, and we all had that. But so wow. I am tired or drunk. I don't know which. You're a
That's all right.
unique, maybe both, or concussed. All three could be. Sarah Jessica Parker, dead, unique, concussed. Hungry, tired. Okay, here we go. So you're a unique guest because usually I interview a comedian or a drag performer, and you are neither. Right?
That's true.
But you're funny.
But I hope.
Oh, you're funny. And
Oh, okay, cool.
and what have you been doing during? So this, I guess, not what have we been doing. This is what I've been saying with all the performers. If you are a performer, right, and you are saying that there's no way to perform during a pandemic because you can't get out and do things, you're just holding yourself back. Because there are things you can do, and there are ways you can still be a performer and still, give to people watching you and give to the creative community. And you're only holding yourself back if you're like, oh no, I can't do anything during a pandemic. So you're not letting that hold you back. One thing you're doing is producing and not hosting, but you're a panelist. You're appearing on and you're producing a game show.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So, when the pandemic started, the thing that I did that kept me the most grounded was I started a weekly game night with all of my friends. And everyone started coming and they said that they looked forward to it. And I thought, maybe we all need things to look forward to. And the game night invites got bigger and bigger. And of course, in Corona times, we're connecting with friends from all over the country who we haven't seen in a while because now they live just as close to us as our neighbors because we can't see anyone.
Right.
And so my dear friend and yours, Chelsea Bearce, got back in touch. She has been one of my dear ones since 2010 when we were 17. And now we are, whatever age we are, back in touch. And we started going on Match Game Apocalypse, actually, with Mean Dave, hosted by Erie Diamond. I'd imagine I'm talking about many friends of the pod. And Chelsea and I loved being on a game show together, and we remembered the game that we've all been playing with our group of friends for a decade, and we always called it, Who Wrote This Shit? And so we set out on a mission, and that mission was to invite every person in the world to game night. And that's what we're trying to do, small groups of friends at a time. And larger, if anyone who's watching thinks, yeah, I would come to game night. Come to game night. You're invited. WWTS Live.
So, you've been friends with Chelsea since you were 17.
That's not true, but it's been since 2010.
Well, 2010, 17. For me, it's the same. So, I'll take it. What's it like working with her and making a game show? Because the audience knows Chelsea pretty well. So, give us some dirt.
So, I don't know if there's really dirt so much as I've seen her without her makeup, and you know what? Her skin is that good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all there is to say that I would think of as secret. Everyone knows what's great about her. I laugh just as much when we're hanging out as I do when she's on stage. It's just when we're hanging out, she sometimes lets me talk back.
Yeah. She comes on my show and she tells me to be quiet. And I'm like, okay.
But in her defense, I bet she had something fabulous to say.
Most of the time. And sometimes when I have something fabulous myself, I get it in and I surprise her. So you guys are working on a game show. What goes into making a game show? Because you guys aren't doing this. You don't have a studio. You don't have a network. You're doing this on your own, which is really awesome.
Yes.
So what goes into that?
So the first thing we did was we said, how many of our friends can we involve in this? And so when you look at the credits of our show, you will see that the logo was designed by my friend Jama McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was animated into the opening credits by Trevor Kiyoshi-Fori with music by Lizzie Hagstead. And every time I watch those opening credits, I think, oh my God, I'm watching a thing that my friends made. And I get so excited for the show that we're about to do. And then after that, of course, there's more to it. Chelsea and I sat around one day for, I want to say 6 hours, writing all of the questions for every single episode through December. And then we had to find contestants for every episode. We found and enlisted panelists for every episode. We created social media channels. It turns out there's a lot of stuff that's normally done by a whole lot of people, and instead it's done by 4 or 5 really dedicated people, a bunch of other folks who show up, and a handful of really neurotic lists.
I like neurotic lists. I
too.
have a Jessie that makes my show look good and makes everything great, and you guys have an Eli.
We do. Well, we had Eli who came in. Eli is a fantastic theater director, and he came on to help us get started. He had a great sense of StreamYard, and actually his theater company did a 24-hour play festival where I learned about StreamYard. So that's how it came into my life. So, of course, he was the first person I called, and I said, Eli, StreamYard, help. And he responded, even though that was not English. And
Well, I mean,
now
it was.
it's
It just
now.
wasn't full sentences.
It was English enough.
Right.
And so he's actually had a whole lot of work rise up as part of his theater company with Fairfield Summer Stage. And he has now trained my dear friend Adam, who I've known, believe it or not, longer than Chelsea, to come along and run the show week to week with the system that he helped build.
That's great. So you and Adam were bar mitzvahed together, and
Pretty much.
yeah, and so now he's your tech guy and your producer.
Yeah.
So one interesting thing about your show, like my show, we have people from all over the country. You are currently in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and we have people. Dave and Chelsea live in the Bay. I'm in Sacramento. Sometimes we'll have guests from Los Angeles or Vegas, but you're doing all of these people at the same time. And so it takes a mammoth effort by a producer to make sure everything's working, and sometimes live TV is proven because you guys will have somebody's internet connection go down and all of a sudden you're down a panelist. Is it stressful or is it fun? Not just
I'm
that,
gonna
but the
say
whole
it's
thing.
fun because of the people who are around me, even though I spend most of it terrified. The most stressful thing that ever happens is someone, running a couple minutes late. And honestly, when the most stressful thing in your life is someone running a couple minutes late, that's an okay life.
It's not a bad life. You guys have amazing panelists. We
do.
Very.
I will share, though, one fabulous flubby moment that we had the other day.
Tell me.
And it happened, full-on group trance sometimes, where everyone moves on and no one says a thing. So we announce the category, everyone submits their answers, and we're sitting there, and Ethan asks the contestant, "What's your guess?" And then we all just sort of smiled until we finally realized that no one had been told what the answers were. And so we were just sort of hanging out and smiling at each other. And you know what? It's a group of comedians. Everyone laughed about it and we moved on, because that's what happens. Live things don't happen because they're ready. They happen because it's showtime. It's different.
I love performing live. I like the chaotic nature of it, and making cake out of ingredients that are falling from the sky. I think that is one of the most fun things to do. And you mentioned Ethan, the host with the most bow ties. So he is the regular
Yes.
host of your show. And then you said your panelists are comedians, but not just comedians, because you're not a comedian, but you're a panelist and you're funny. And then also my dear drag aunt, Apple Adams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, what a treat, what a joy, what I almost said what a peach, but what an apple. She came into my life as a great big surprise. Chelsea said, "Oh, do I have someone for you?" And she was very, very kind and agreed to do the final dress run before the first episode, because we had everyone, even the contestants, same thing for the final dress rehearsal, just so we'd all feel comfortable. And Miss Apple comes in, hilarious, gorgeous, a look that you see once and you will always see and be like, that's Apple Adams. That is Miss Apple Adams, which is part of the game. And then we got to hang out once on video between shows when she and Chelsea were somewhere doing something. And I know that I talked about seeing Chelsea without her makeup before, but Miss Apple without her makeup, nearly identical. It was incredible.
Indeed. You were actually talking to them we were at Drag Brunch. So you've been watching the show. That's the brunch that that we referenced with Dave and with Clifton.
Oh, that's hysterical.
That was my Make-A-Wish day. Yeah. So that's where you talk to them, because I snuck up in the background. Me and Taryn did, and that's my co-host.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, that's where I first saw your wig.
Because I was brunette that day. Yeah. So yeah. So that's you do have, and I will say, you said it's part of the game to know the panelists, because the way the game is played. Would you like to explain it, actually?
Absolutely. So the way it's played, and boy, is it inspired by an awful lot of 1970s game shows. Thank you, Match Game. We will announce a category, just like we used to do in our own living rooms, like come up with a terrible movie sequel. Everybody writes down their answers, and we all hand them into the host. And I shit you not, we've been calling that person the host ever since we played it in our living rooms in 2010. Before it was a TV show, we knew it needed a host. And anyway, people submit their answers. They're hilarious because, unlike Match Game, they're not trying to match anyone. They're trying to show off what makes themselves unique so that you can pick them out of a crowd. And then our contestants have to guess and try to figure out, was this answer written by Miss Apple Adams? Did it come from Chelsea Bearce? Was it me? Was it the fabulous Justin Elizabeth Sayer? Because boy, are they capable of a bon mot, which I learned is a French term for a funny thing.
Bon
From them.
mot. Okay. I'll
Yes.
say this. I've been watching your show since the first episode, and I had the privilege
you.
of being able to watch one of the dress rehearsals. And
Ooh.
Apple is my drag aunt and one of my closest friends. And Chelsea is one of my closest people. And then also you had Miles Weber in your run leading up to your first episode, and then your
did.
first episode. And I know him pretty well, and I see his comedy often enough that I was like, oh, I should be good at this game. I know two of these people very well and have been around them for a pandemic worth. And then Miles, and so I'm going to be good at this. I was not good at this. I was not good at knowing who wrote what shit until you got Justin Elizabeth Sayer and their answers. I am like, oh, that one. That one's Justin's. That one, yeah.
Right?
So I like
Okay.
playing now. I like playing at home when I'm watching.
So I will say, first and foremost, while we are together, if you like Justin there, you would love them on YouTube. So go and look up, go with me, the International Order of Sodomites.
Okay.
That is International Order of Sodomites. And in particular, I would say go and take a look at his video, The New Hanky Code, that tells a lot of queer people a lot of stuff that they need to hear.
You know what? That comes up a lot, the hanky code
Right?
in my life. Yeah. So I'm going to check that out. And a good shout out because Justin, they are a funny person.
Truly.
And, but we can talk about Justin when Justin is here. If he wants to come on my show, this is about you, sir. So
That's right. Also, I am going to ask, since you brought it up and you're loving playing, Chelsea and I have talked about this. Do you want to come over and play sometime? I'm asking you publicly to be a panelist.
I can't believe Chelsea okayed that. Yes, I would love that very much.
Well, I mean, she didn't okay it so much as she didn't say no.
Right. She just, like, the message is read, and she probably thought she was like, no, but she didn't get there yet. So, yes, before she gets there, I would love to. Thank you.
Yeah. It's too late. You're going to have to come play now.
I will do it. It's on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific?
6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern.
Yes.
Convenient time for all of America to come to game night.
I will say you have some of the most fantastic comedians, and then also Apple, that I have seen. Well, I mean, since I met Apple, I have, and if she were here, right, when she's co-hosted my show before, so it's not crazy to think that she could be here. I have been pushing her, like, please do stand-up comedy. Please do stand-up comedy. I have been asking that woman to do stand-up comedy almost. I don't ask her every time we talk because that would be overwhelming. But maybe like at least once a week for 3 years now. So when I say you have hilarious comedians and Apple, I don't mean to say that she's not a hilarious comedian. But you have actual working, traveling, touring comedians.
That's true.
You had, I'm going to forget his last name, Giancarlo.
Oh, Gianmarco Cerezi.
Gianmarco, yes. Gianmarco Cerezi. My forgetting his name is more because of the concussion, the hunger, the tired, the sleepy. Yeah.
Please. The other day on his Instagram, there was a thing about how someone called him Giancarlo something, and he's like, I think I'm booked for this.
Well, then
it happens all the time.
Then he would love and or hate me. No, he's hilarious. I'm finding new people to follow and enjoy their social media presence from watching Who Wrote This Shit. So once again, tell people where they can find Who Wrote This Shit. What are the handles?
So, we are WWTS live on everything except Twitch. So, on Twitch, we had to put an underscore between WWTS and live. It is what it is. But here's the thing. Go to our Instagram. There's a link tree. It'll send you everywhere. WWTS live. I'll keep saying it. I feel like I'm doing that Jessica Wilde thing where I say it 3 times at the end and like, let me tell you about this drink. Like, I was not slick about that at all.
It's okay. You don't have to. Look, we're self-promoting in a pandemic. But I do need to say, because we don't actually know who watches the show, what the demographics are. So Jessica Wilde is a drag queen that appeared on RuPaul's Drag Race. So if anyone is curious who Jessica Wilde is, she's not yet a panelist on your show. But
she is not. But she dreams the dreams of a golden child, and we love her.
And she could be a panelist one day. We don't know.
Look, honestly, I would love if my panel was mostly drag queens and queer people. Not that I have anything against heterosexuals as a concept, but I am happiest in spaces with queer energy, and I love being around drag queens because they have the guts to put on the makeup that a lot of us don't, and it's very comforting.
How do you feel about drag princesses?
I mean, pretty much the same as I do about drag queens. They're just younger.
And cuter.
I'm sure, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And they often have great songs in the first 20 minutes, even though they never sing again.
Oh, I don't sing.
I have a lot of princess thoughts.
Oh, okay. I just do Make-A-Wish numbers. And then really good ones when Dave and Chelsea aren't there.
Now, when you say Make-A-Wish numbers, do we mean make a wish like a princess or make a wish like a foundation?
The number that I did that day felt like like I was a child that a foundation granted a wish to, and that wish was to get to perform with the best queens in Sacramento. That's the way I felt when the audience was looking at me.
Here's the thing. As you just said that right now, I almost cried, and I know it was hilarious, but I was with you. I was just like, her wish came true.
It really does. Every Sunday, my wish comes true. I get to host 2 drag brunches with the most amazing drag queens in Sacramento, and then I get to come here to Stab, hang out with Jesse, and host this show. And it's like, that's why I said earlier, like, if you're not working during the pandemic, it's because you don't want to be. Because I am the luckiest girl every Sunday. I will send you videos of the numbers from today and the numbers from the other day, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Please.
You'll be like, okay. But I wanted to say, I know you know drag queens, and I know Chelsea knows some, although she met Apple through me. I know some amazing drag queens. So if you ever want to get an all drag queen or drag person panel, I could help. I have a Rolodex. We can go through it.
I was going to say, let us expand that. There are so many drag performers who aren't queens. Some are princesses, some are kings. We see you all.
Yeah. We've talked about that on the show. We've had a lot of drag queens, and we talk about what is drag and who can do it. Anybody can do drag. But again, we're off topic, unless you want to opine.
No, we can go back to topic.
Okay, cool. I just want to talk about you because we have you here. I can talk about drag any old day. But if we come back to it, that's okay. So, you are, I'm going to say this word wrong. Maybe not, because I sometimes get lucky. You're a librettist?
A librettist.
A librettist. Oh, I was close. Okay.
Yes.
What is a librettist?
A librettist is the person who writes all the dialogue in a musical that comes between the songs.
And you do that for a living?
I don't do that for a living, but I do it a lot.
Okay. Do you enjoy
Doing
it?
it for a living implies that I've been paid for it, but I have a degree in it. I have had residencies as a result of it. I have been in workshops that brought me great joy and education and friendships.
Okay.
But I have not yet made money from it, which is fine.
Not yet, but I'm going to
moment.
say that you, even if you're not getting paid, it is what you do. So
correct.
It's just
actors are actors even when they're not in movies and plays. I am a lyricist librettist because I write lyrics and librettos.
Mm-hmm. Certainly comics don't stop being comics when the pandemic happens and they're not performing and getting paid. Drag queens don't suddenly...
No, they just get really exhausting on personal phone calls.
Drag queens don't stop being drag queens just because there's a pandemic. So I would say...
Agreed.
Getting paid... and I used to use the same metric for myself, but I would say maybe it's time we revisit this metric. So, you said the word, librettist, right?
Librettist.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you write the dialogue between the songs. Can you give me an example?
Yes.
I know what that is because I like theater, but could you give me an example for anyone watching who's like, wait, what? Go back.
You mean like say lines from a scene in a musical between the songs?
No, you don't have to say the lines, but like, so let's take...
Oh man, I was like, the thing about a musical is people never remember the librettists because everyone remembers the songs. That's why I also write lyrics.
Right. So, okay. So like in My Fair Lady, there's songs.
Yes.
And then there's the dialogue between the songs, which kind of, they set up what's going to happen in a song, or they deal with what just happened. Because usually, correct me if I'm wrong, the songs are usually moments where of either realization or of personal journey or of actual journey. Sometimes you use a song to, like, I'm thinking of Funny Girl, where there's a whole song where she gets on a train.
So if we want to go into this.
Where are we going?
The relationship of when we talk and when we sing is the thing I think about most in the entire world.
Go on.
Because when you are writing a scene, it is your job to create tension between characters because they each want things that will inconvenience the other. And eventually it's going to get so tense that something happens. And in a movie, that's where the underscoring would come in. And maybe someone would yell or someone would get punched in the face. But in a musical, someone feels so intense that they need to explain themselves articulately while singing. And they're going to do it. And maybe you'll fight back and it's a duet. But maybe you will sit back and listen and it's a solo, and that nun is telling you to climb every mountain, and you are going to climb every mountain and get away from the Nazis. There are so many good reasons to sing. And one of the things that blows my mind the most when I see a show is when they set someone up to burst into song and it doesn't happen, and I am at the edge of my seat because I can feel that dramatic pull. And there's nothing that hurts more than a miss on that, but there's nothing more exciting than when something happens and someone bursts into song. And I don't know, there comes a point when you just can't explain it. You know that feeling when you go on stage and like your brain blacks out a tiny little bit because your body is giving the performance and you stop thinking about the choreography because you're doing it. When I see those moments, even if I'm sitting in the audience, it's been proven your heart rate goes up when you're watching a musical. You get engaged when people are honest with you while they're singing. And I get so into it. I can have those blackout moments in an audience because I'm so excited that someone started to sing at the right time about the right thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. So
apparently I have a lot of feelings about this.
Well, and that's one reason I would say this is what you do. This is who you are. Because I can't say I've ever, and I like theater, I can't say I've ever thought that much about it. But also, I can't sing. So maybe that's why I haven't thought about it. But
I believe that everyone can sing the way that you may believe that everyone has access to drag and can do drag.
Okay.
It is all learnable. It is all available to you. You don't sing yet the way I have not made money from musicals yet. If you want to sing, you could fucking sing. Do you want to sing?
Sometimes moments in my life get me so excited that I would say, I don't know if I felt this before you explained it, but the way you explained it, I would say there are moments that are so exciting that you just want to burst out into song.
And when that happens, are there like certain songs where you're like, oh my God, tonight I have to perform this song. I am feeling it. It is there.
Oh, like for drag performances?
Yeah.
I would say that I'm still so new as a performer that I'm still like, oh, I want to do this song, and then I want to do that song, and then I want to do this song. And here's my list of literally 875 other songs that I want to do. So there are times where you're like, I want to go back to that song. And there are moments where, like, my parents will come, and so I try to think, like, what song's going to fit, like, what song's going to pique their interest in their demographic, but also be really fun, do the opposite of what I did with Mean Dave. What's going to be really fun for the whole crowd, but also be really engaging for my parents. And also, does that song mean anything to me? And then, yes, it does, actually. It means so much to me.
Yeah.
It's cathartic in a way. It's singing it, performing it, lip syncing it, helps, like, it takes me to a different place in my mood and my processing about feelings about a certain situation, if that makes sense.
Yes. And so I want you to imagine that you have this set of feelings, but instead you develop them about words on paper, and you realize that you have written a scene where these characters are in an interesting enough conflict that there's something to sing about, and you get to write the words that they use for that catharsis, for that feeling, for the moment when you have to press play and hear that song right that second. That's why you write. That's why I write, because I know that there are people out there who need to sing and haven't found the song yet, and maybe I will write one that helps them figure something out.
So, tell me if I'm wrong, but it kind of sounds like the dialogue between songs is either foreplay or whatever comes after sex.
So
Cuddling.
I think the dialogue between songs is something that you could very fairly call foreplay, which is so tricky for me because right now I'm writing a show about mothers and daughters. But structurally, yes, it is absolutely foreplay. And the thing is, like all foreplay, you need to be creative about it. It cannot be the same from scene to scene. You have to think about what you're building toward. And if you're building toward one kind of event versus another, you do totally different things to show someone this is where we're headed and soon it's time to sing.
Okay.
Yeah?
And so that is what you write, and that's why you write. But you also are a lyricist. So you're also writing the lyrics to the songs.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is how I started. So the woman that I'm writing, the musical I'm writing now with, her name is Lizzie Hagstead. This is our third musical together. We've been writing, this is a great theme in my life. We've been writing together since 2004. And wow, did I lose my train of thought? That's embarrassing. Wait, we're talking about songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
How did I get to this? Ooh,
So you said that
I was so excited to talk about Lizzie.
You started as a lyricist.
Yes, okay, thank you. That's what I needed. So Lizzie and I were in college, and I had said, I kind of wish I wrote lyrics to musicals. And she said, I kind of wish I wrote music to musicals. So we decided to go find a movie we liked and pick a moment where it looked like it was time to sing. And so the first song we ever wrote was a song for Cher in Clueless, the moment the fountain turns on and she realizes that she loves Josh. Because isn't that the moment where you would have her sing?
Yeah, that is.
And we wrote a song with really good music and a lyric that no one will ever, ever, ever hear in my life because it is not good. But Lizzie likes to repeat those lyrics to me all the time to make sure I remember where I started and stay humble. She just likes to read me to Phil.
What a good friend.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would thinking about Clueless. I would put one there, and then I'd also put one. Oddly, the next thought that came to my mind was the driving scene on the highway, which makes me want to ask you: high tension moments, are those good for songs?
Yes. High tension moments are great for songs. The thing about a high tension moment on a highway is that it's really tricky to do on stage, even though they tried in Sunset Boulevard and put legit car chases on the stage of the Palace Theater where Judy Garland once performed. But if you want people to sing in a car chase, I think they sort of swung it in the Daria TV show musical episode. If you hop on Hulu, check it out. Full tilt song in moving traffic. And yeah, I'm going to say that's a real thing. That works. We sing in moving traffic. You could write musicals, Suzette. And that feels very princessy.
We'll come back to this. I have a musical to pitch you. But
Go.
we're gonna revisit
ready.
that. So you are writing a musical adaptation of Hereville.
Yes.
What is Hereville?
So Hereville is a set of graphic novels by a man named Barry Deutsch that I so wish I had right next to me, but they're around the corner on my other desk. And I would love to show them to you because the thing is, with a graphic novel, it's not just about what Barry wrote, it's also about what Barry Deutsch drew. And he drew the tale of a girl named Mirka who is 11 years old, Orthodox Jewish, has lost her mother, and lives in a newly blended family with her stepmom. And she's having a hard time with it because the ghost of her mother is on stage and literally everywhere. So she has a rough go with her mom. gets caught up in the supernatural, but ultimately learns that her stepmother can also be her mom. And oh, look, I found the book. And by found, I mean, I said that so loud, my husband went to get it.
Oh, what a good husband.
Look
What's
at
his,
her on
what's
her
his
giant
name?
ball of yarn. Oh, my husband's name is Rudy. Rudy is not the author of Hereville.
No,
But
no.
he is the fetcher of Hereville.
I just wanted to say thank you, Rudy, for grabbing the book.
Oh, thank you, Rudy, for grabbing the book. I don't know why I said that and looked up.
Is
This is a 1-bedroom apartment.
Rudy a deity?
I'm like, is Rudy a what?
a deity.
He is not a deity, but he is
Okay.
a Reiki master, which is as close as I think we let people hear.
Okay, because usually when we look up and talk, it's to a deity. So I didn't, just making sure, because if you're married to a
Oh,
deity.
see, and I just pictured it as like shouting upstairs.
Oh. Yeah.
You are more faithful than I am, it seems.
Well, it's just a slight difference of religion, but your religion shouts to people and mine shouts up. So it's directional,
Well,
really.
I would say my religion is somewhere between Judaism and theater, which is why I'm writing a musical that's somewhere between Judaism and theater.
So I'll say that I looked at the some of the images from Hereville, and and I mean this in the most complimentary way to Mr. Deutsch. Deutsch, right?
Yes. Deutsch, yes.
It looks so Jewish. The artwork.
Yeah.
It is like, I'm like, wow, I don't even need to know what the story is about. Those are Jewish characters. And I don't mean like,
truly.
I don't mean like in any offensive way, like they have like big noses and like full pockets
No.
of money. But like they look like Jewish families that like I knew growing up.
That's what it is. The thing about Judaism that's so tricky is that it's an ethno-religion. So yes, there are prayers, yes, there are temples, but also, yes, there's a language, yes, there are recipes. There's not a Catholic language. No one makes like a special Christian casserole. Like, but there are Jewish foods. We have challah bread, we have kugel. You've seen these things, you've loved them. There is a song about kugel in the show that I cannot believe Lizzie let me get away with.
I like to make a joke when I'm around people that know Jewish things or Jewish friends, and I say I'm a nosh because I'm a snack. See, you get it. I don't know how many people in the audience do.
Yes.
But yeah,
Oh,
no, Jewish foods
okay.
are a thing, and I've had the
Jewish
pleasure.
foods are
of,
such a thing.
yes.
Okay, the worst Jewish food joke that I teach little kids.
Okay,
Only Jewish little kids. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Why can't you put Jews in jail?
Why can't you put Jews in jail?
Because they eat lox. I
Okay.
know.
All right, that is.
I know.
I'm mad that I didn't know it now, but yeah. So Hereville is about a small Jewish girl who is learning about her blended family and also the supernatural, and herself, because she's what is she, 12?
She is 11 when the book
11.
starts.
Oy. So she's a year away from
Oy,
bat
indeed.
mitzvah.
Yeah.
So she's going to be a woman soon, at least
And-
in the eyes of her religion. What inspired you to write a musical adaptation, of Hereville?
So what inspired me was that I saw the book and started reading it. I was in Salem, Massachusetts. Halloween vibes. I was in Salem, Massachusetts because my husband is a practicing pagan. Our home is one with, a broom above the door that protects us. It brings us joy and peace. And I said to him as we were wandering around, oh my God, I cannot go to another magic store today. There's a comic book shop across the street. So I went over to the comic book shop and there was a section of graphic novels and I see this book and suddenly something clicks because they're always telling me, you know, write what you know, write what you know. And I look at this book and it lives at the intersection of Judaism, kids who know too much, and magic. And I thought, well, gosh, I have to buy this. I have to support this author just for thinking of it. And I wonder if he would let me turn it into a musical. Oh my God. I wrote him a fan letter. We had a Skype conversation and he said yes. And I cannot believe he said yes. And that he's gotten to hear readings of the show and loves what we're doing is the most unbelievable thing in the world. Like, who cares what any audience says? The author feels like we understood the characters that he created, and it's so exciting. It's an honor.
That's terribly exciting.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
That feels like one of those things that if someone said on TV, I would roll my eyes at them, but there's no other name for that feeling.
Well, and I think maybe if anyone's rolling their eyes at it, they just haven't because when you write a script, you put everything you have into the plot and those characters and the words they say, and to let someone, and I had to learn this, but to let somebody else take that, a director, actors, a set designer, and take away what you've done and then do something. It's like having a child, and now you're giving your child to the teachers, and the teachers have control, and you're like, well, I just hope I raised you well enough that you're going to do well. Bye. So it's very scary. So
I hear what you're saying, but I will say, I think the teachers have influence, but the part of that story that I want to bring up is that, you know how no matter what your parents wanted, you were going to be exactly who you are because no one was going to stop a drag princess like Miss Suzette Veneti from making her way into the world?
Yeah.
No matter what any teacher said to you, think about the story you just told, and remember, the musical itself now, we've been working on it for 5 years, and it is the child. It gets ideas without us sometimes. The other day, Lizzie called me and said, oh my God, I had a brilliant idea. What if blah, 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 because little changes that I had made gave her an idea, which gave me an idea, which gave her another one. And it stops being about what any one person did. It just becomes about everyone coming together to just not shape the child, but clear a path for it.
I would agree that certainly if anyone is watching and they're like, no, but I would say it's an organic living thing that it adapts and it grows on its own, and you're just there to kind of facilitate that.
And there's some stuff you control, there's some stuff you can't. But like when you put together a number, you can control what you put on your body, you can control how you practice, you can control what the song is. But then when you get out there, it is its own entity, because this number is now what you are putting into it at that moment, informed by whatever's in your head at that moment and whatever that audience is giving back to you.
Oh yeah,
And-
I can be more global. I can say that it's like when I produce a show, and I can have
Oh,
an
yeah.
idea for a show. This is what it's going to be, and I do the drag brunch, which we've talked about, and then I do a show here at Stab where I'm sitting, which is a really cool show. We have under 21 drag queens perform, because in the non-COVID times, they can't perform in the bars because they're not 21. There's not places that have drag shows that aren't gay bars usually. I mean, there are, but they're few and far between. So
Yeah.
if you're 19 and you want to be a drag queen or a drag king or a drag person, where do you go? And so when my producer friend, like I had a friend, another drag queen, way better one, we were like, we're going to produce this show, and we talked to Jesse, the producer of this show and the owner of Stab. And we were like, this is what we want to do, and so we had ideas, and we talked to Jesse, and Jesse had ideas, and so we put this show out, but we could only really put it there, and then what happened next, we have to adapt to and grow with, because if the show goes one way, we can say, oh, we don't want to go that way, but then that could be the end of the show, or we can just buckle in and go for a ride with the show and see what it becomes.
And sometimes, who knows? Sometimes you just get a brilliant idea or someone amazing shows up and you realize that you want to make room for that.
Yeah, like Justin. So
Oh, absolutely.
you've been working on Hereville, your musical adaptation, for 5 years. How does it get from where you are now to being on a stage?
Well, first and foremost, everyone wears a mask.
Absolutely.
Because until we can get back on stages, it doesn't matter. I mean, okay, no, it matters. Keep writing things, keep dreaming.
Right.
But until we can get back in theaters, what can we do? Where can we go? I can't invite people into a space to sing this together, and it sounds so much better when the actors are in the same room singing at the same time.
Yeah.
So, for the moment, we're willing to wait. We will continue to work on it writing-wise and make it better. We've started talking about another project, and, you know, when we can go back into theaters, the next step is to apply for awards and grants that exist in the world, to do a more public reading of the show if we can rustle up money, to make a concept album so that we can send it to people and say, hey, if this were a musical already and you bought the CD, it would sound like this. Doesn't it remind you of a musical you want to see? So there are a lot of pathways to success, and if someone had figured out the right one, we'd all be doing it and we'd all be rich.
Well,
So the answer is we're going to keep trying and believe that we made something special and hope that someone notices.
I think that's the way to go, because if everyone did the same thing, then it wouldn't be the path to success anymore. It would be bottlenecked. One of the ways you mentioned
Yes.
was a concept album. So that was famously done by Lin-Manuel Miranda with the Hamilton soundtrack.
Oh, the Hamilton mixtape.
Yes, Hamilton.
As
Thank
he
you.
originally planned it.
Yes.
And
So
it's more tried and true than that. Jesus Christ, Superstar was a concept album. Evita, Chess.
okay. So that is one path, and certainly none of those show producers or creators or runners had to deal with a global pandemic. So I think it's. I would
No.
say if I mean, my opinion doesn't matter much, but I would commend you for saying this. You need the pandemic to be over with, because I just in another breath said, "Oh, you're only stopping yourself," but you're not saying this is stopping you. You're just saying you're at a point now where you need live theater, which we've talked in 28 shows of this show. We've talked a lot about, is comedy on Zoom, stand-up comedy on Zoom, stand-up comedy? Is a drag number on Zoom, is it the same as live drag? And they're not. It's a different thing. And
Correct.
theater is a medium that's meant to be enjoyed live. So otherwise it'd be TV.
There's something magical about agreeing to the contract of that live moment, that someone comes into a space, pays money, maybe grabs a drink, sits down in a seat and says, I am going to take you seriously for a few minutes or a couple hours. Show me what you want to show me. And to get that live in a space, to know that someone gives a shit about what you're doing and saying, that's amazing. We all miss that. We all miss that. Hey, even people who aren't necessarily performers, your boss telling you on a Zoom meeting that you did a good job sitting in your freaking shorts on a chair at home doesn't mean the same thing as someone saying it to you in person in real life. We all miss human connection, which is why we all need to wear our masks, vote intelligently, and until then, watch game shows online with cool people like us and accept that this is what it is now, but the next part's going to be so good because we are going to appreciate the fuck out of it.
I just like
Can we curse on this show? I just cursed on this show.
You absolutely fucking can. Thank
Thank
also,
you.
I'm gonna say that I was excited because you said cool people like us on the game show, and half of the excitement was because I get to be a panelist, and then the
Yeah.
other half was because I don't think Chelsea's not done with what she's doing yet. But if she watches this episode back, she's gonna be, what? No! So just that moment of that is exciting. Okay.
Well, if she and I are FaceTiming, I'll record it without her consent.
So there's no good way to transition from the musical adaptation to my next question. So I
Do
will
it.
say it can be as awkward or as what's the opposite of awkward? As graceful. Smooth, graceful, yes. It can be as smooth or as awkward as the topic. So you are in a throuple, or some people call it a triad.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So, I'm married.
Mm-hmm. To Ruby.
And I got married in 2011.
Okay.
And
9
then
years.
we made a very good friend. And we hung out for a long time, sort of just as friends. And then one, we all sort of realized that everyone was into everyone else. And so I was the one who was like, oh my God, you guys, this is gutsy, but maybe it's a great idea. And everyone sort of went with it, and it was really confusing at first because you have to learn how to communicate differently with 3 people. But we figured it out, and now it's really fun, and hotel rooms are a lot cheaper when we travel because we don't tell them about the third person.
Yeah, I never liked when hotel rooms. I don't like when they charge per person anyway.
I just realized that my headphones disconnected, and that was so surreal because you went from like in my ears to surround sound.
Oh. That is some people's worst nightmare, is me being either in your ears or surround sound. Sorry to do both.
You're here with me now, and I'm sort of loving it.
Okay. I'm good with that. So first off, what is your... Certainly you wouldn't speak for anyone in a 3-person relationship, but what is your preferred term?
I think triad over thruple, because I think thruple makes it sound like there was a couple and you tacked one on, and triad makes it sound like equals.
Okay.
Which is the goal.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I think it is, because I will say I have been in one sort of relationship like that, and it wasn't equal. It was very much I felt like a training wheel next to 2 big wheels. So there was not equality in that relationship.
I hear that. Well, I mean, when you're joining something already in progress, I mean, it's tricky. It's like when they threw Paul Rudd into the final season of Friends. Like, you do your best, but these people know each other.
Oh, Paul Rudd can do no wrong.
Oh, no, he can do no wrong, but oh my God, the character they wrote for him on Friends is just a bad man. Like, go back and watch it. He's just behaves poorly. He's very unkind to Phoebe. I have a lot of problems with him, but Paul Rudd played it like a champion and was very funny.
Okay, so how do you find equity, equality? How do you find equal footing in I blanked for a second. We're calling it a triad. In a triad, how do you find equal footing?
I don't know if... I think to find equal footing, it's about everyone understanding that there are actually 4 relationships happening. There's me and this one, me and that one, the 2 of them, and then the one that's all 3 of us. And so it's our job to sort of help keep an eye on the other one. If I think that they aren't getting to see each other very often, I would say, you 2 should have a date night. Go hang out somewhere, have fun. I'll go see my friends. And we have to make sure that there's time that it's all 3 of us hanging out and talking, because it's very easy to just do it all in 2s and 2s and 2s. So the answer is we all keep an eye on it together. And like everything in the world, there are moments of balance and moments of less balance. And when it's out of balance, we talk about it. We try to find balance. So far, we've been successful. And may it continue to be so. It's a bunch of people who want it to stay balanced. And I think, much like working on a musical, much like working on a game show, when everyone has the same idea in mind, which is let's stay together and have a great time, something good's going to happen.
Is there anything that you have learned or observed about being in a triad that you wish you had known going in? So like if anyone else was going to try this and they said, what's the best advice? And not necessarily something like you just said that you kind of, it seems like you might have already known that going in.
The answer is this.
Yeah.
If you are, an attention seeker, a driver of social interactions, a Leo type, and you're like, this is a great idea. We're going to be in this situation, and now 2 people will be interested in me. And then you see that those 2 people are also interested in each other. And you have to navigate that feeling. And a good friend of mine and an author named Samia Mounts wrote an article that I read about an idea called compersion, compersion. And compersion is the idea of feeling joy for the joy of your romantic partner or partners. It is learning to cultivate a feeling of, oh, they're off having a date night. I'm so glad that 2 people I love are having a date night, as opposed to, why the fuck wasn't I invited? Because it's so easy to go to that place and show that naked jealousy. And oh man, early on, I was the worst one about it. But, we talked about it. I read, I learned, we grew up. And also we lived through 4 years of this fucking president. So we held on extra tightly to one another.
4 years of this president has felt like a lot longer. And then 7 months of this pandemic has made it feel like 4 years.
I truly, we thought it was a regular 4 years, and then it's like the countdown started over in March, because March has been 7 months long. And I am so excited to go and cast my early vote this week. And I hope everyone who's watching has a voting plan. We should be talking about that all the time. Do you have a voting plan, Miss Suzette Veneti?
I've never heard of a voting plan, but my plan is to go to my polling place, wear a mask, cast my vote for the candidate that I feel is the best candidate for the job, which is any candidate other than this one, except realistically, that's not a good enough answer. Realistically, being a Democrat, I would have to say that I would need to cast my vote for somebody that can actually win. Whether or not I necessarily agree with that person or would have chosen that person out of a large field, that is the person who is best situated and positioned to take over the mantle of President of the United States away from where it is currently. Yes. So that's my plan. Go vote. Go to the place, vote for Joe Biden is my plan.
That is a very, very solid and informed take.
Thank you.
Good on you, princess.
Thank you.
And I agree. I don't think when I fantasized about voting him out, it would be voting for another white man in his 70s.
Right.
But that is what's happening, and I believe that he will listen, and that is valuable.
I hope so.
We may hold his toes to the fire and ask for what we know needs to happen.
I have a very good friend. He does comedy here in Sacramento. His name is Teo Morgan, and one of his status is on Facebook. He told Facebook that because Teo is he's not a Democrat. He's not a Republican. I can't remember what he would call himself.
Libertarian?
No, he's not libertarian. Those I know.
Thank God.
Those I know. He's more a Bernie supporter, But what Teo said was he's to make himself feel better about voting for Biden. He's considering Biden Miss Harris's loading screen. Kamala Harris's voting screen. So, I don't necessarily look at it that way personally, but I'm like, hey, same team. Whatever gets you, Teo.
I mean, may he survive his whole presidency, because a
Sure.
country losing its leader is chaotic no matter what you think of the leader. But I would not be upset to know that he was a president who set the stage for her to be a president.
I am so ready for a woman I have been ready for a woman president since 2008 when Hillary ran the first time. And I'm not saying I didn't like Obama. I'm not saying I didn't vote for Obama. I think Obama is one of the greatest presidents we've ever had. But I'm just ready for a woman president. I think that'd be phenomenal.
I agree. And luckily, there are smart, capable women who can get that job. And hopefully it will happen sooner than later. Because, boy, when you look around the world at how things like coronavirus have been handled, the female-led countries, the woman-led countries are keeping their people safer. And a military does not make me feel as safe as a leader who will take decisive action to keep us home and away from germs.
I would say that, to kind of tie this back together, the moments of getting ready to go and vote and then actually going to vote would make me want to break out in song.
I agree. I think that is a reason to sing, and I really, really hope we get another reason to sing very shortly thereafter.
Oh, there'll be a reason to sing either way. It's just going to be in a minor chord or a major chord.
You're right. There will be a reason to sing, but we're going to find out if it is the end of the musical or the act break.
I don't know. I don't know which way that. I just want President Biden. That's all.
Yeah. We want this Trump thing over. But enough about that. How much do people want to hear us talk about politics? We're all stressed about it enough.
Well, there's a way to do it where you're not hammering it down people's throat, and I think we're doing okay. But I did have one more question about the triad.
Sure.
Could you be? I don't know what word to go with, but could you be a quadrad?
It would require consensus. That's not a decision I could make on my own, but I will say ideologically, I see no reason to limit myself as long as it was a structure where everyone felt healthy, safe, and supported. I just don't know if I have the
bandwidth.
You know how if you're a parent, you can have a certain number of kids and then being a parent has to be your full-time job. If you had 7 kids, that would have to be it. That would have to be your life.
I mean, I can assume
relationships with 3 other adults like that sounds like it would take a lot of my focus. 3 is great. The 3 of us is great. This is plenty.
Stick with the triad for now. It sounds like it's working, and good for all of you. And I don't know what to say.
It'll be 4 years and 6 days. Oh my God.
So you guys have anniversaries for the triad.
Oh. Yeah, I get. Yeah, we do. I know that it was around Halloween when it started.
Spoopy.
Yeah, well, that's fun. Oh, I hope it's not a gift thing because I am not prepared.
Oh, that's okay. You just asked me about being a parent, and I've said on my show many times, no one would ever think that Suzette Veneti should be a parent. So,
you know what? That's never stopped anyone from becoming a parent.
It stopped the people that don't think they should themselves. They stopped themselves.
Yeah. Oh, I know a lot of people who should never have been parents who are parents.
That's not false. So when researching you for the show, I came across an Instagram that is called Robby Sandler is my dad. What is the Instagram account Robby Sandler is my dad?
Okay. So, I will begin by saying my little brother used to be in a band called Black Tide, and then he was in a band called Falling in Reverse. These bands are on Spotify. They're findable. And because of that, he has a blue check next to his name on Instagram.
Oh.
And I said to him, oh my God, I'm going to log on when you go live and like be silly at you. And then people figured out that I was his brother. And so one of them made a fan account about me called Robby Sandler is my dad. They started finding photos from my own Instagram and Facebook. There's at least one photo from my own childhood that I don't remember posting, but they found. And when I messaged the person who created it, I wrote, which I thought was funny. I was like, hey, it's so funny that you did this. Ha ha ha, Robby Sandler is my dad. But honestly, I'm like 30. At the time I was like, I'm like 32. I'm not someone's dad. And the person who created it replied, well, my dad's 34. And I realized I was talking to a child.
Yeah.
And I stopped responding because as a gay man, I'm afraid that someone's going to be like, he talked to the child, gay, bad. And so I disengaged immediately. I'm still amused by it. I hope one day the creator turns 18 and says, hey, remember when I did this silly thing? But it might just be a thing that happened once that we talked about here and moved on from. But yeah, a 13-year-old made a fan account about me because my little brother is famous in certain circles.
My comeback to the creator of the page would have been, because you said, I can't be a dad, I'm 32, and the creator said, my dad's 34. And then if I were you, I would have said, but your dad's not Robby Sandler.
That's true.
So it seems we have a disconnect. But you have fan fiction about you, basically, which I can say no one's ever written any about me. So
that they've sent to you.
True. There could be some fan fiction, steamy or not, that people haven't sent to me.
I mean, don't look on my phone, but never say never.
Speaking of, I have a musical pitch for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. This is actually not my musical pitch. This was an idea that Chelsea came up with on my show while she was sitting next to Miles Weber, and the three of us were talking. And so the backstory goes, I used to ask all of my guests a rapid-fire question, which was, which Disney princess would I be if I was a Disney princess? And I would get different answers, Aurora because you sleep a lot, or Rapunzel because you have blonde hair, or Elsa because you are cold and blonde hair, stuff like that. The real answers are very easy. And Chelsea got one of them spot on, and she said Ariel, but not all of the Ariel, just Ariel when she comes out of the water and she can't learn how to walk and she's trying to figure out how to be a human, which is a very Chelsea thing to say. So I was like, oh, I want to do that number. I want to perform that number now because that's a moment that I can nail. And so I can't remember, but we got to talking. And so the musical idea is a silly white little drag princess steals the voice of the soulful sea witch. And that would be Chelsea. So that's as far as we got.
I mean, honestly, that's a solid flip on that. I could see that being a hardcore, like, direct-to-VHS Disney sequel in the 90s. And those are not bad, to be clear. Like, Return of Jafar, the surprisingly good Cinderella 3, I'm serious.
Wow. Is that the Gus Gus Gus?
Oh no, Cinderella 3 is very much about one of the stepsisters, and it's like, what if everything had gone wrong and Cinderella didn't become a princess? And it's about a stepsister becoming wonderful. And my friend was like, you need to watch this with me. It's better than you think. And it was. I was in college when I watched it. It was great. Cinderella 3.
In 2004.
Yes. When I was 7. Time is weird.
Time is very weird. I was going to say it actually, I hadn't thought about it until I said it out loud to you. I mean, I thought about it to write it down, but I hadn't talked about it out loud. And now that I'm saying it, and you said it's kind of in vogue, it is like Maleficent. Like, there is a push to tell the bad guy story from so many of these, classic Disney stories. And so why not? A lot of people actually, there are a lot of people that talk about how Ariel might be the villain of that story. And we just got her perspective where she's the hero.
Okay. So, with regard to that, because you know me, I love to pitch a friend's musical.
Okay.
My friend Kaylee McMahon was the lyricist for a musical with Team Star Kid called Twisted that was supposed to be like Wicked, but for Jafar from Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
Stoned or sober, it is a hell of a watch. It's on YouTube. It's free. Twisted. It's about Jafar, and they go into that. There's a whole number about it, and oh my God, could you do that in a show? There are songs you could lift from this. I'm serious. Go watch it.
I will go watch it. The only one I don't want to see is where Scar is the hero, because I can't get behind that.
Oh, no, but there's a number that does all of the villains that you could do at any Halloween thing next year and kill.
Well, actually, we don't need to wait for Halloween because we do one theme a month. And one of the themes...
in that case?
Yeah.
Do it and do the Cruella de Vil part. I'm serious. You win the day with it.
One of the themes we talked about was Disney villains. Because we did it and we were all, princesses and Tinkerbell and Minnie Mouse. Yeah. So, yeah. I actually should have been Anna because she's goofy, weird, awkward. But Apple did Anna. So I was like, I guess I'll do Elsa. That doesn't really fit, but...
well, I mean, there's no princess with pink hair, so Anna's really the closest.
Pink hair?
Yeah. I mean, isn't Miss Apple always pink hair?
No, she has red hair a lot, pink hair. She's gone.
I feel like I always see her in pink.
She's gone through some blonde phases.
Who hasn't?
The problem was I took her Meg inadvertently. She does Meg, and I didn't know, and so then she had to pivot. And but we figured it all out. But Disney villains, thank you. I will check out Cruella de Vil. That is all of my proper questions. Is there anything I'm not smart enough to ask that you wanted to mention?
Oh God, I don't think so. You did a pretty deep dive. We got all the way to the fan fiction.
Well, thank you.
I feel known.
I don't do, a lot of things great, but I deep dive, I guess, like a scuba pro. Are you ready?
Like you could hold your breath for hours.
Maybe. Are you ready, Robby Sandler, for rapid fire questions?
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about the existence of brunch?
French toast.
That's a good answer. No one says that when I ask. That's a really good answer. Who is your favorite LGBTQ activist?
My favorite LGBTQ activist. I am a big fan of the work of Bob the Drag Queen, but there is also an author that I would like to shout out, and I am going to look up an author name. I know you said rapid fire.
That's okay. I'll tell you while you look that up. I will tell you if you can multitask.
Because I read the book. Rikki Ann Wilchins.
Okay.
That is the person. Because that was the first person who told me anything about what being transgender was in a book called Read My Lips, Sexual Subversions and the End of Gender. And that was in 1997.
Oh, wow.
And it blew my mind.
You were negative 10.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so
I
that's
was
a book
12. I probably shouldn't have been reading that, but I was a very gay 12.
in 97.
Yeah. I came out in 1998 when I was 13.
Oh wow, mazel.
Thank you.
So, I was gonna say, you are 2 degrees separated from Bob the drag queen, because on this show we had as an interview guest Bob the drag queen's drag daughter, Honey LeBronx. I don't know if you're familiar with Honey LeBronx.
I am. I follow her.
Vegan drag queen, yeah. And she was here, and she is Bob the drag queen's daughter. So you're 2
Aw.
degrees away.
Hi, Bob. See, look, everyone's upstairs.
I was gonna say I
deities to
don't know
me.
if Bob's watching. I would be thrilled if Bob watched the Suzette Veneti. You know what? The world's weird. Bob probably is like the most devoted
Yeah.
fan of
Could
this
you
show.
imagine Bob sitting at home? You said that, and it's like, not anymore, and turns it off.
Right?
because
He's
of
like,
what you
now that
said.
people know, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
almost
Come
had a
back.
fan.
Come back, Bob. I love you too. Okay. What is your favorite item on the gay agenda?
My favorite item on the gay agenda, aside from the fact that we got to get married and file taxes together,
Mm-hmm.
probably that everyone started tucking their shirts in right because of Queer Eye.
Yes, and now that we all know how to tuck our shirts in right and correctly, we know that Rudy Giuliani was not tucking in his shirt. Wah wah.
Oh, God, but truly wretched. I look at his face and I see a demon.
You're not alone. I think a lot of people do. Which do you think the COVID-19 pandemic has affected more, the straight dating scene or the gay dating scene?
I feel like it's probably affected both of them equally, but I think gay people are better at connecting sexually over a distance. I feel like, or
Okay.
at least I've done better at connecting over a distance sexually as a gay man. Look, the answer is I don't know about straight people. Gay people are more important. Let's talk about them. Next question.
Ironically, the next question I had written down, you can pass, was what's your favorite position to imagine straight people having sex in?
Oh, okay.
Oh, you want to come back for this one. You're like, let's get away from straight people. Nope, we're coming back to him for this one.
No. But okay. So my answer is, generally speaking, I imagine the woman on the bottom and facing up
Uh-huh.
because I live in an apartment and I hear my downstairs neighbors, and because she's so much louder, I assume she's facing up.
That's a really great way to kind of get to that summation.
Thank you.
Unless she has maybe she's pressed up against the ceiling. They have a bunk bed, and she's on top, and she's pressed against the ceiling, and that's why she's so loud. This could go a lot of ways.
Maybe she's just Spider-Man.
She might be Spider-Woman, Spider-Person. I don't know. She could be Spider
Spider
something.
Pig. There's already a song.
Spider Loud.
Well,
What?
look, I didn't spide her. I just listened a little.
Do you want to disclose to the audience what your favorite sexual position is?
Huh. Do I? You know what? I feel like that actually sort of changes day to day. It's a question of what's comfortable and whose back hurts.
Aging is a thing. I
Yeah.
am much
Welcome to
older.
your 30s.
Yeah, I'm much older than you would guess. So
I don't know. I could make a pretty mean guess. No, I'm kidding. We both know you're 19, but you're old for your age.
you know, I get 24 a lot, and I'm like, yes, thank you. Keep giving me 24.
Absolutely. Like, I'm sure you couldn't rent a car without paying extra.
I like when they try to make me pay extra. It's really great. I'm like, yeah, please. I don't want to pay extra. I just want you to. I want you to want me to, or I want you to need me to. But I don't know. I need to come up with something to say about that. But I don't have to. But I look like I should have to. What's your favorite musical?
If you held a gun to my head, it's between Caroline or Change and The Wild Party by Michael John LaCusa. At the end of the day, if George C. Wolfe worked on it, I probably love it.
Okay, easy question. Who's your favorite lyricist?
Fred Ebb, Chicago Cabaret, Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Oh, I can't remember the name of the song. I guess it's just. Is the song where is it Billy Flynn? Is that the attorney character? Where he's puppeting Roxy.
We both reached for the gun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a story about that song.
Okay.
And that is when that movie came out, I was on a first date with a guy, and I agreed to go see the Chicago movie.
Okay.
And I am queening out in the theater like nothing you've ever seen. This guy is horrified. During that number, when everyone starts flying and I'm living my musical theater life, he left.
Oh, well, you are.
And we were on Miami Beach. I didn't have a ride home.
You're in a happy triad, and he's not. So,
yeah,
his loss. And I'm sorry. What
people
sort
make mistakes?
What sort of devil person doesn't like we both reached for the gun?
I think he probably liked the number. I don't think. Well, no. You know what? People didn't like musicals back then. They were weird to people before that won an Oscar. But no, I was so excited. He was just completely turned off by me.
Well,
and you know what? Don't spend time with people who are turned off by your excitement.
There you go. Let's see. Do you have a favorite venue to see a show in or to produce a show in?
A favorite venue to see or produce a show in? I have an incredible soft spot for the Duplex, a cabaret space in downtown New York City in the Village. It is 2 doors down from the Stonewall, and I haven't seen it since March.
But you'll...
And I, just really thought about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you like about it?
I love how storied that space is, even though it's really quite literally a duplex house that was turned into this cabaret space. But it's where Joan Rivers would go and perform in New York once upon a time. It is a tiny little room where so many great performers have been. It's where Justin Elizabeth Sayer first produced his show, The Meeting. It's where I first saw Molly Pope on stage. It's a really exciting little space with giant voices and big talents in it.
It sounds amazing.
And, it's scrappy West Village, New York. It still feels like old New York, where poor people could move here and be talented and succeed.
I want to go to the old New York.
Same.
I don't know if that's going to get me there. Do you cook or bake?
A lot.
Which?
Both.
Oh, you're a bother. You're
sort
verse.
of been my big dream if we were in lockdown would be to be like a group's chef.
Oh.
I crank out food constantly, and in fact, there is something warming in the oven right now. When we get done with this, I made protein pasta with all kinds of vegetables and shredded chicken in a light tomato sauce.
That's interesting because I recall from when you visited the show last time, you're a Jew married to an Italian, and yet you're cooking pasta, and Rudy is not.
Well, I think it's because he grew up in a house where he was Italian and someone made great Italian food. So he needed to live in a house where someone made great Italian food.
Fair enough.
You're welcome, Rudy. He can hear me. I'm
looking up again.
A deity. That's where people are.
You know what?
Where they are.
Your downstairs
So
neighbors
bad.
agrees.
I guess to my downstairs neighbors, that's where I am.
Yeah. Someone is buying us drinks. They see the show and they want to buy us drinks at the bar. What are you getting?
I'm getting an old-fashioned, and I'm drinking it slowly, and it's going to taste like a hug.
What kind of whiskey?
I am so bad at that game.
Oh no.
What I usually do is if someone with money is paying,
Mhm.
I will look and just pick something that looks good. But I feel like I've never gotten good at whiskey.
I like Jameson and Wild Turkey. Maker's Mark is
I
also
support that. I was once given a bottle that said Talisker on it that was delicious, but that bottle's been gone for a long time. I liked it while I had it. There's a bottle of Bullet up on my shelf, but honestly, if I'm going to drink, I'd rather smoke it.
Fair enough. If someone's buying us shots, what are we shooting?
We're doing Jell-O shots because I don't have the stomach for like straight alcohol, but we're having a lot of them.
I like Jell-O shots a lot. We'd have a sloppy Veneti on our hands. This is an important
That sounds
question.
like a sandwich I don't want to order at a restaurant.
Or it's one that you do, but you just have to be in the right mood for it.
Just a sloppy Joe with a blonde wig.
Could be.
I-
Toilet paper, over or under?
Under, because I have a cat, and if it's over, she can unroll it.
Okay, that's a reason at least. It's not a good
Yeah.
reason. I would get rid of the cat.
Over is easier for people. Under is harder for cats.
Have
I
you
love
ever
you, Tonks.
have you ever asked the
By the
cat
way,
not to use the toilet
I know
paper?
what you're thinking. She's not a deity. She's actually directly above me.
Fair. That one.
She
that
sits
one
in
makes sense.
judgment.
Yeah, that's what cats do.
Thank you for your judgment.
Who is your favorite drag queen?
My favorite drag queen from like the pantheon of the ones that we see on RuPaul's Drag Race would
No.
be Ben de la Creme.
Okay.
My favorite drag queen in this room is Suzette Veneti. My favorite drag queen in terms of a moment in my life where I was like, oh my God, a drag queen, was the first time I ever saw a real life drag queen in Miami. Her name is Daisy Dead Petals, and she rules. And I still follow her on Instagram.
All right. So some good names. I mean, certainly people know Ben de la Creme, but people can look up Daisy. What was it?
Daisy Dead Petals.
Daisy Dead Petals, and they
I
can
think there's an underscore in her Instagram handle, but Daisy Dead Petals, there's only one and she's stunning.
Oh, I mean, if you search for that, the right one will come up, and if she's stunning,
Yeah.
then people will know. Do you have a favorite drag king?
In New York, Murray Hill.
Okay.
But from the ones who are showing up on TV, oh my God, Landon Cider.
Okay, Murray Hill. And again, people know Landon Cider. They should check out
Yes,
Murray
but
Hill.
Murray Hill is a New York legend.
Oh,
Murray Hill is the game show host of my dreams.
okay. Then that's definitely someone people should check out. How would you describe my aesthetic? You're the first person I've ever asked this question to. It's a new one.
Excellent. If I am going to talk about your aesthetic today, I am going to say it is Sarah Jessica Parker quarantine Halloween party and Pat Field won't pick up, but you know she'll send something cute in November.
I like that. You wrote something to me. I'm trying to remember what that was. Do you remember?
Oh God, it was probably really friendly too, and I think I believed it.
It was really funny. I like
Oh,
what you said.
God, I was funny in text, but then not here. That is the story of my life.
No, that was funny.
And I'm like, I'm looking to see what I said to you, and I can't.
but wouldn't
Oh, here's what it was. I said, your brand is chaos in a way that makes sense to me. Like a kid who opened up Pretty Pretty Princess, tore up the rules, and played with the necklaces.
yes, I'll take it.
There it is. I already did this assignment better than I just did it.
So you just said that you were funnier in text than in person, but isn't that good for a librettist?
Yes, it is very good for a
Oh,
librettist.
A librettist. Thank you. It's the concussion. A librettist. Librettist sounds like a political party.
Yeah, a librettist sounds like I'm going to free someone from something. The only thing I'm going to free somebody from is not singing.
Oh. I'm not. I can't fight that fight with you. I have to stand on the other side. Do you think I'm pretty?
Yes.
Okay. And would you date me?
We've discussed adding a fourth, and you understand that logistically it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But
just like hypothetically
if
in
I'm
a vacuum.
place to add a relationship to my life, this feels really comfortable and nice. We could make this work.
Okay, well, thank you. I've learned a lot about relationships in this discussion. Thank you. Last question.
Sure.
When this is all over, and there's a new normal or an old normal or just a normal that we get to, what are you most looking forward to doing?
I am most looking forward to never being on Zoom again. And I'm most looking forward to being able to give my friends hugs.
Yes.
Everything else is what it is, but oh my God, only seeing people from 6 feet away, like I miss the warmth of people.
Yeah, but my nails look good from 6 feet away, so I'm okay with it.
Absolutely.
Just
And
that
from
part.
3,000 something miles away, they're flawless.
Thank you. I am complimented.
Of course.
That is all I have, Robby Sandler. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to be had.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And no matter what happens in the next segment, I will say you are my favorite Jew of the show today.
Thank you. I will take that, put it in my back pocket, and carry it with me back to Who Wrote This Shit tomorrow night at 9 Eastern.
And I will be watching, and the information below you on the screen, the Instagram handle is the Instagram for Who Wrote This Shit. And people can find you again. Just one more time, tell me Instagram is where they should go, because there's a tree you said.
Instagram's the easiest.
Okay.
You'll find our link tree. We'll hook you to everything. WWTS Live.
And they can watch it live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Twitch, and then the next day on Instagram.
6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Who wrote this shit?
Yes.
Thank you, Robby, for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much, Suzette. This was the best.
Okay. I will message you because I have things to tell. I have stories to tell you that aren't good for the air. But
Oh, I support that. We'll discuss later.
okay. Tell Rudy thank you, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Good night.
Night. All right, everybody. That was Robby Sandler. He is a producer and a panelist for Who Wrote This Shit, and a librettist and a lyricist. So follow him on Instagram if you want. Not the account Robby Sandler is my dad. That is not him. But a very fun and amazing person who's making a game show, which is so cool. So watch that game show tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to get to the last person on the show, David Shapiro. I think we're ready for him. So, David, are you there?
Hey, Suzette.
Oh, so what are we talking about today,
We're
David?
going to talk about acting, actually.
Oh, that's something I know that you try to do.
Well, actually, Suzette, it's one thing that I will say that I do well.
Do you, though?
Yes. I think so. I do.
Okay. So Ellis mentioned last week that you're voicing a character in a show he's producing called Dick Fist, which is a teleplay
Yes.
that he's producing. So what's your process for voice acting?
Well, I've noticed that when I'm filming with Ellis, because we do it, like we talk, we have a Zoom connection open, and then I'm recording with a microphone in front of me to get really good audio. And I noticed that I make a lot of faces, and I'm very much back to my Italian roots because I'll gesticulate a lot with my hands.
I bet you look stupid.
I don't know. I might. Also, I probably am making the faces I would make if I was playing the character in, like, myself, like, instead of it being a teleplay or animated.
So, but like this is a superhero that has penises for fingers, if I recall.
Well, sometimes you play a character that is nothing like yourself. like any acting role. You just imagine the world that the character is in, and this script in particular is rich with the world that it has created. So I just try to believe in the performance that I'm giving, and that helps me bring believability to the character.
What does that mean?
Basically, I'm saying that if I believe my performance is real, if I sound like I'm actually living it and believing it, then I think it will draw the listener into believing it's real as well.
Okay, so
yeah,
that's
I guess so.
That's
I get lost in my acting roles sometimes, and I generally feel the emotions of the character and act from within. If I were the character, that's called method acting, is the style.
Okay, tell me more about method acting. I've heard about it.
Wow. Okay, we're going to my college education here. It was developed first by Konstantin Stanislavski, and then it was taught by Stella Adler, Lee Strasberg, and Stanford Meisner in their acting school in New York City in the 50s. There's a sub-style of method acting called the Meisner technique also. But basically, method acting, the actor becomes the character psychologically, sociologically, behaviorally. It doesn't have to be, like, sometimes you hear about actors walking around on set wanting to only be referred to as the character, or like they'll live for months, like, in a shack because their character does. You don't have to go to that depth, like, with it. You can just immerse yourself in that world once you're in costume. Costume helps a lot. Hair helps a lot. So you can immerse yourself. Oh, my dog is peeing.
Oh,
but she wears a diaper, so I will take care of that when we're done here. Where was I? Method acting.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Hold on. Keep your filled diaper away.
Okay,
from me
David.
temporarily, please. Method acting.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So you become the character emotionally, psychologically, behaviorally. You believe that you are that person, and then you make choices from within that place inside of you.
So you're saying a method actor, you
It
become
can
the
be.
character.
Your character's emotions can get twisted up with your own real life emotions. It can confuse your emotions, basically.
Wait, what? That sounds dangerous.
I mean, if your character is sad and you're not, like if your character gets brokenhearted, but you're in a good relationship, you might still feel like you're experiencing heartbreak. That actually happened to me in college, where I was playing a character in a play. So, there's 2 months of rehearsal, and then, 2 weeks of tech, and then 2 weeks of play, like runtime. So unrequited love, my character had a crush on, didn't like my character back, and I happened to be in a great relationship at the time, out like in real life. So I'd sit on the couch at night watching movies with my then girlfriend, and I'd feel like I was getting broken up with, and I was having unrequited love and experiencing heartbreak every night while we were watching movies, while I was sitting next to my great girlfriend.
Maybe it was the future telling you that you were dating a trollop who was going to break your heart.
My Zoom got wonky.
Nothing.
Okay. Well, also you can experience sleep deprivation and problems sleeping and getting requisite brain rest from method acting. That's one thing that people cite.
Oh yeah, I can relate to that.
Yes, I've heard you say as much. I like to remind you that you look haggard. Get some sleep, friend.
Anyhow, do famous actors use method acting?
Yeah, a ton of them do. I mean, just look up on Wikipedia and you'll see a list of like a who's who of amazing actors. The entire MCU, Matt Damon, my two favorite comps that people say, like De Niro and Pacino.
No.
And other greats like Philip Seymour Hoffman, Chloe Sevigny, Jamie Foxx, Angelina Jolie. There's so many, I can't even name them. It would just be like reading a phone book of famous actors. I think it's the best way to act, and it's how all the greats really do it.
Well, that's really nice that the greats do it, and then you also can do it, even though you're not a great.
Anyhow, to bring it back to Dick Fist with Ellis, I'm really grateful that he and his cousin Mikey cast me, and I get to be involved in this project. I miss acting, and I love acting, and this has been awesome. The script is in on the joke, and that's what makes it so cool. Even though it's a story about a superhero with penises for fingers, and he's fighting other crudely named, bad guys, and the plot is it's aware of how ridiculous it is, and that's why I like it, because it's not self-referential. It's self-aware. So it knows it's in on the joke. I think I already said that already, but it knows what it is, and that's what makes it funny.
So, I just wish you were in on the joke about you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again to them.
I don't know, David. I feel like I wouldn't be able to see you as anyone other than you. Like, are you sure you're a good actor?
Yeah, you can cash a check on me being a good actor, Suzette.
Well, your comedy.
Oh, wait, what? Wonky Zoom.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah. That should be out, what did Ellis say, April of 2021? So keep your eye out for it.
Okay.
Yep, thanks for having me, and I'll see you later. All right, bye, Suzette.
Bye, David. David Shapiro, his information was below him. And once again, Stab's information is above my hat. And do something cool and support local art. Anyway, that was the show for October 25th. We'll be back next week, November 1st, with comedian Torio Van Grohl. Thanks for tuning in.
The city's your playground, I watch you take a bite. At 5 a.m. roaming the streets, drunk all night. You think you're hot shit, and ooh, I love it, yeah, yeah.